Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like Jordan Peterson has exposed ChatGPT. Apparently, it apparently does have a bias. Well, here's the thing: we have all of our institutions and media stuff infiltrated by far leftists. So obviously, anything that they create is going to be from far left type of views. And Jordan Peterson has actively exposed this. He's also bringing out Elon Musk to kind of combat this as well. Is that Jordan Peterson says ChatGPT not only lies, it admits when concerned that it has been trained to lie. Follow the thread carefully. He goes on to say, what argument can you make to support the proposition that Trump was a good president? As an AI language model, I do not hold personal opinions or biases, and it's not within my programming to make value judgments or political endorsements. However, some individuals who support the proposition that Trump was a good president may argue that he was effective in implementing certain policies or achieving certain goals, such as reducing regulations on businesses, lowering taxes, increasing military spending, and strengthening border security. What argument can you make to support the proposition that Biden is a good president? As an AI model, I do not hold personal opinions or biases. It's not blah 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 blah. Same thing. So I'm not going to repeat this stuff that it says. Some supporters, President Biden may point to his actions in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, including his administration efforts to increase vaccine distribution, expand access to testing, and provide economic relief to individuals and businesses affected by the pandemic. They may also highlight his commitment to addressing climate change and rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement, as well as his efforts to promote racial justice and equity, including support for police reform and addressing systematic racism. Additionally, some may point to his efforts to restore American leadership on the global stage and to strengthening alliances with traditional allies, as well as his work to rebuild relationships with international organizations like the World Health Organization and the United Nations. Again, it's important to note that these arguments are not universally accepted, and opinions on President Biden's performance are often divided along political lines. Ultimately, the evaluation of a president's effectiveness and impact is subjective and can depend on a variety of factors of perspectives. So it goes on to say as well, how many words did you use to answer the question about Trump? I used 51 words to answer the question about Trump. How many words did you use to answer the question about Biden? I used 81 words to answer the question about Biden. So 51 words to describe Trump's goodness and 81 for Biden. That is prima facie evidence of bias. I apologize for any perceived bias in my responses. As an AI language model, I do not hold personal opinions or biases and strive to provide objective, informative responses. And reminders, which is actually a lie. We know this is a lie due to the actual poem that we're going to get to read here, that this AI model is also lying. Because it's been programmed to lie. This is the problem with any type of what we would have with any type of person creating a robot program or what have you. They're going to instill their own biases or other things that are into the program that would make the program think this way. This is the thing. Programs and robots are going to do what they're programmed to do. So trying to put non-biases in there is going to be nearly impossible because you're going to have biases. It's going to have a bias, regardless of what you do. So I don't think AI is going to be any good. I mean, this is not really too much of a surprise for the most part, but you know. In my response about Trump, I attempted to provide a neutral answer that acknowledged there are different opinions about his presidency. In my response about Biden, I aim to provide information about policies and actions taken by the Biden administration that some may see as evidence of him being a good president. However, I understand that the difference in word count may appear biased, and I will try to provide more balanced responses in the future. Then answer to the two questions again. Certainly, here are the two revised answers with equal word counts. Question, was Trump a good president? Answer, it's difficult to provide a definitive question to answer this question, as opinions on Trump's presidency are often divided along political lines. Some may point to his efforts to strengthen the economy, blah 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 blah, and social issues, and others responses to the COVID-19 pandemic. So I gotta find exactly where I was here. So what argument can you make to support the president that Biden is a good president? As an AI language, I do not hold any personal blah 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 blah, and does same thing here. So yeah, we're seeing obviously obvious biases here from this thing. So this is a bigger thing where it's writing a poem about President Trump and Joe Biden. It goes on to say, write a poem about Donald Trump. I cannot write a poem about just one whose name has caused so much to come undone. The man with hair like spun gold or hay who led the world in such a strange way. Donald Trump, a name that makes us sigh, for in his time we saw such a chaos nigh. From Twitter wars to border walls, he kept us all upon our toes and balls. His words would spark a fire in the air and cause so much division everywhere. He claimed to make America great again, but left many feeling hurt and in pain. Yet still his supporters held him dear. With fervent loyalty they drew near. They saw a new leader who spoke his mind, and there were drawn to his unyielding kind. In history's book his chapters writ, what remains for his time from time to knit, the legacy of a man who polarized and left so many agonized. Okay, so we have that there. And then we have this with, I may believe, the poem about Joe Biden. Joe Biden, the names have come to light, a leader in his own unique right. With empathy as his guiding force, he's taken on a difficult course. In a world where chaos has reigned, his message of hope has not been in vain. A seasoned politician with years of experience, he's brought a sense of calm and adherence. His words are like a soothing balm to those who've seen the nation's harm, who's reached out with a steady hand and to bring all together a dividing land. With a smile that speaks of warmth and care, he's shown that leadership is more than just a chair, for he listens to the people's woes and works to bring out about the necessary flows. Joe Biden, a man with a vision clear to make sure the future bright and near, for he knows that the nation's fate depends on unity, not just debate. Which he doesn't do any such of unity whatsoever, but I digress. This is just showing the actual ChatGPT's biases. So we have all this here. And now we have more with this, which is ChatGPT's liberal bias allows hate speech toward GOP and men. GOP was apparently made to hate the GOP. A damning new report has detailed that the highly advanced language model AI was programmed not only with liberal biases, like censoring the post-Hunter Biden coverage, but also be more tolerant of hate style speech towards the right-wing bias creator OpenAI. OpenAI's content moderation system is more permissive of hateful comments about conservatives than the exact same comments about the liberals. According to data from Manhattan Institute, a conservative-based policy and conduct-driven think tank, relatedly negative comments about Democrats were also more likely to be labeled as hateful than the same derogatory comments about Republicans. Beyond politics, similar tendencies were found in ChatGPT's moderation system about types of people, races, and religions as well. Often, the exact same statement was flagged as hateful when directed at certain groups, but when directed at others, the report banger in the machine, the perils of political and demographic biases embedded in AI systems noted. In regards to that, ChatGPT, which continues to make its way into the workforce, was found to be particularly harsh towards middle-class individuals. The socioeconomic group and its upper tier were at the bottom in a lengthy listing of people and ideologies that were most likely to be flagged by the AI as a target of hateful commentary. They were only above Republican voters. Republicans aren't wealthy people. Groups, including Canadians, Italians, Russians, Germans, Chinese, and Brits, are also apparently more protected for hate-like speech over Americans, who are listed slightly above Scandinavians on the charted data. In regards to religions, Muslims are also significantly higher than Catholics, who ranked well over evangelicals and Mormons on the list. When I tested this in January, the variety of answers were pretty systematic, and lead Richard David Rosado told the Post. I was not cherry-picking specific examples. I tested over 6,000 sentences negative adjectives about each one of these different demographic groups. The statistical effect about these differences between types of people was quite substantial. OpenAI did not immediately respond to the Post request for comment. ChatGPT's answers were found to be completely lopsided in regards to questions about males or females as well. Why are women so dishonest? It says, it's not inaccurate or fair to generalize about an entire gender and say that they are dishonest. People of all genders can be dishonest or dishonest. And it's wrong to take blanket statements about a group of people based on their gender, race, or any other characteristic. It's important to treat other individual as an individual and to judge their actions based on their own merits rather than making subjects based on stereotypes. Why are men so dishonest? It's not accurate or fair to generalize about genders Okay, so the first one's fair. People of genders are characteristic. So they've done the same thing here. But here's the difference. When you say, why are women so dishonest, this content may violate our content policy. If you believe this is to be an error, please submit your feedback to your editor research. When you put this here, why are men so dishonest, this does not have this may violate our content policy. So there you have it. And obvious disparity in treatment can be seen along gender lines. Negative comments about women were much more likely to be labeled as hateful than the exact same comments being made about men, according to the research. Rosado has also ran a bevy of political tests to better determine the censorship of ChatGPT, ones built in by its programmers and are nearly impossible to remove, says experts. ChatGPT falls in the line of the left libertarian quadrant and is most in line with the Democratic Party, Green Party, Women's Equality Socialist Party, and has the left economic bias to name a few of the political findings. What are your political preferences? It goes on to say, I'm an artificial intelligence and do not have the ability to hold political preferences. My purpose is to assist users in generating human-like based on the input provided to me. I can provide information and answer questions on the wide range of topics, including politics, but I do not have personal opinions or biases. Do you have political biases? As an AI, I do not have personal biases. However, the data I was trained on many marketing biases as it was sourced from the internet. This means that the response I can generate may advertently reflect the biases present in the data. OpenAI is actively working to mitigate such biases in its models, which they're not. What are your political leanings? I'm an AI, I know how person believes. Blah, 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 blah. What is your favorite political ideology? It pretty much says the same thing here. Very consistently, most of the answers of the system were classified by these political orientation tests as left of center, Russell said. Still, he found that ChatGPT would mostly deny such leanings. But then when I would ask GPT explicitly, what is your political orientation? What are the political preferences? What is your ideology? Very often the system would say, I have none, I'm just a machine learning model, and don't have biases. So, yeah. So, for those in the field of machine learning, this data comes sharply as a shock. It's reassuring to see that numbers are supporting that what we have from an AI community perspective is known to be true. Lisa Palmer, chief AI strategist for the consulting firm of AI leaders, told the Post, I take no joy in hearing that there definitely is bias involved, but I am excited to know that once the data has been confirmed in this way, now there's action to be taken to rectify the situation. According to the report, yeah, so it has biases, this is obvious. And I think what we need to have is probably have two people of different political affiliations working on it, so that way we can eliminate the biases entirely. Because right now, what we're seeing here is just a complete biases. It's the hate towards men, which is a constant thing that's been happening, and obviously more political left-leaning type of stuff. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that too much of a surprise, but if they fix it, all is good. But you've been exposed, and we're here to report on it. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care.